Alright, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Tazadak here of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Genesis chapter 2, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified, giving honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it. It's Genesis chapter 2 and verse 1. And it reads, and they completed the heavens and the earth and all its host. Right? Wayakalwa Hashemayim Waha Rataza Wakal Tazaba'am. So that word call or kala means complete. Right? That's where you get the word all from, because you're talking about a complete thing, right? A complete amount, right? Which sounds like all, call. You see, you're going to realize when you go into the Hebrew, a lot of words, right? Esau, in philosophies, Esau borrows from it, from the Hebrew, right? Like Adam, right? 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, right? So he knows who he is, right? He knows, right? He has understanding of certain things, right? But the mysteries, right, of the scriptures is not given unto him, right? Genesis chapter 2 and verse 2. They finished the powers in the 7th day their work, which they made, and they ceased in the 7th day from their work. Salakia, from all their work which they made. Wayakal Alahayim Bayawam Ha Shabaya Aya Mala'akathwa Shar Aisha Waya Shabbath Bayawam Ha Shabaya Aya Makal Malaka'ath Slakia Mala'akathwa Ashar Aisha. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 3. And he blessed the powers to the 7th day, and he sanctified unto it, because in it they ceased from all of their work, which they created the powers to do. Waya Barak Alahayim Athayawam Ha Shabaya Aya Waya Kodash Athawa Kaya Bawa Shabbath Mukal Mala'akathwa Ashar Bara'a Alahayim La Aishath. Salakia. These are the generations of the heavens and the earth in its creation, in the day which he made the Lord of powers, which is Yahweh of powers, to the earth and the heavens. Alha Taladath Hashemayim Waha Rataza Baha Bara'am Bayawam La Aishath Yahweh Alahayim Rataza Washemayim. Because that word ladath, the root is yalad, meaning to bring forth. Right? In this case, it's talking about the generations. Right? The bringing forth of the heavens and the earth. Right? Which you could simply read this as generations. Right? But the actual word for generation is dar. Right? And dar actually, it means honor as well. Right? Genesis chapter 2 verse 5. And all pit of the field before it was upon the earth, and all grass of the field before it sprang up, because he had not caused the rain, the Lord of powers, upon the earth, and man there was none to till to the earth. Right? Or Salakia, to till to its soil. Because that's what Adamah means. It means ground, soil. Right? Ipar meaning dirt. Right? Which is the same as Adamah. Right? Soil, dirt. It says, Wakal Shayach Hashada Taram Yahaya Ba'aratazah Wakal Laishab Hashada Taram Yatazamach Kaya La'a Ha Matiyar Yahawah Alahayim Al Ha'aratazah Wa Adam Ayan La Ibad Atha Ha-Adamah, right? Because that word shayach, right? The blue letter says it's shrub, right? But the root, right? Shawach or shayach, right? Which is where you get the word shatach, right? Meaning to prostrate, right? Which literally means to be brought low, right? In worship, right? Bring oneself low in worship, right? So when in the time when the Lord made everything, right, before there was trees and anything of that sort, right, it was just a plain land. You had dry land, you had the wet land, right? So this is just a recount, right, of what happened in Genesis chapter 1, right? It's going to recount some of the instances of the creation. Let's look at that word shayach. Genesis chapter 2 verse 5. And look at the variations, right? Because that's what you want to do with the Hebrew. You want to compare and contrast, right? And if you're going into the blue letter, you have to be able, right, to read certain of these other scripts, right? So you can compare it to the Hebrew to see which is close, right? You have Aramaic, right? You have Arabic, you have Syriac, right? And some Ethiopic, right? Because you'll run into that in a blue letter sometimes, right? Which I'm working on. I'm looking into that, right? There's also Samaritan, right? I've seen it a couple times here in the blue letter as well, right? So shayach, it says speech, discourse, quarrel, meditation, right? That's what you do in meditation, right? Shayach means to bring forth something. Also means to meditate in the sense of, right, right, you kind of just zone out in meditation, right? For example, if you're meditating on the word, right, you're thinking about precepts, okay? You're thinking, okay, which precept, right, can I link up with this, with that, right? What lines up, right, with this precept, Does it line up with the other precepts, right? It says bush, shrub, plant, right? Because it says, when no shrub of the field was yet on the earth, and no grass of the field, right? That would fall into the category, right, of a shrub, right? So it's talking about pits, right? Ashab, meaning grass, right, would kind of fall into the category of a shrub, right? And we're going to prove it right here, right? Bush, plant, shrub. Strong's H 7878. Shayach, to produce, to bring forth. To speak, to sing, to talk with oneself, to meditate. Muse, complain, talk of. Right. See if we can get a precept. So I get it. Just type in pit. Shawacha, right? Pit, ditch. Strong's H 7745. Pit. That's a spirit, right? Because I actually hadn't looked that up in a bit. Shawach. To sink down, to subside. The Arabic says sach, to be sunk into the mire. Metaphorically, to be bowed down of the soul. Sink down, right? Be bowed down, be humble. Shakha, Strong's H 7812. To bow oneself down, to sink down, to be depressed. In worshiping a deity, to do homage, to submit oneself. Right, so you have, right, the word for pit, right, shayach or shawach, right, or ba'ar or bawar, right, but bawar literally means well, which is a sort of pit, right, but it's a pit dug for a particular purpose. So that word taram, meaning before, right? You can compare with Qadam, right? Meaning beforehand, right? East, right? Let's look at that word Taram. Genesis 2 and 5. Right? Because there's a few words in this chapter you want to get familiar with. Right? So you don't necessarily have to, get all the Hebrew at once, right? But there are particular words that you're going to run into, right? Which will help you progress in understanding the Hebrew, right? Taram, before that, previously, not yet, right? The Arabic says, Lama'a, meaning not yet. Not yet, before that. Root meaning apparently to interrupt or suspend. Not yet, before, right? Let's look at that word tazamach. Just means to spring up, right? Slack it. Let's get that real quick. Genesis 2 and 5. Strong's H6779. Tazamach. To sprout forth. To shine. Syriac says. Tazamach. To cause to sprout forth, right? To sprout, spring up, right? Syriac says tazamach or tazamacha, to spring or shine forth, shining, also to sprout. The Phoenician is tazamach, posterity. Let's look at some words for posterity. So that's pretty much it for that, actually. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 6. And a mist ascended up from the earth, and water to all the face of the earth, right, or the ground, right. Wa'ad ya'ila man ha'arataza waha shakwa atha kal panya ha'adama, right. The word ad means mist, right. Shakwa meaning to water, to irrigate, also means to drink. Salaki, to give drink. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 7. And he formed the Lord of powers to the man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed in his nose the panting of life. And it came to pass, the man was a living soul. Waya Yatazar Yahweh Elohim Atha Ha-Adam Ipar Man Ha-Adama Wayapach Ba'ap Yawa Nashamath Chayayam Wayahaya Ha-Adam La Napash Chaya. Right, that word Yatazar meaning to form. Right, let's look at that word. To form, to fashion. Right? Shalakia. Strong's H 3335. Right? To form, to fashion, as a potter clay. Form, fashion, potter, creator. To frame, to form. The word pach, right, meaning to spread, right? In this case, it means to breathe. Let's look at that word. Strong's H 5301. Napach. To breathe, to blow, right? The Arabic says the same. Napach. To blow. Good job. Poser. To disperse, to cast away by blowing. Syriac says napach, to inflame. The Assyrian says napahu, napaku. The Arabic says napach, to blow. Let's just type in smell. Rayach, right, to smell. Basham, spice, sweet odors, right? See if we can get a preset for that word napach. Right? To breathe, to blow, right? because that's what you do when you breathe, right? You spread out air. You breathe it back in, right? It's one word describing both actions, right? When you breathe in, breathe out, right? And it sounds like it. You just go pah, right? Has that same sound, pah, pah. Let me go close into the microphone. Right? Which is why the Hebrew is a living language, right? Right, so it has to have something, right, with the pace, right, to your pace, taza'ad, right? So he breathed upon his nose, right? Ap, meaning nose. It also means to be angry, right? Nasham, nashamath, meaning panting, right? Right? Which is what a woman does in labor, right? It also means inspiration, right? Esau calls it what? Adrenaline. When that adrenaline kicks in, right? You get a little extra boost, right? Nashama, right? Breath, spirit, the panting of those who are angry. Breath, divine inspiration. A puff. Strong's H 5395. Nasham, which is Nashama actually, right? It's basically the same thing. Nashama says to pant. The Arabic says napas, to pant, to bring forth, to bear, right? Which is in the Hebrew that means soul. To pant. The Syriac says nasham, to breathe. Nasam, the Arabic says gently breathe, of wind. To seek a thing with labor and perseverance. Nasamata, nasamta. A soul. Pant of the deep, and strong breathing of a woman in travail, right? Let's look at the Aramaic entry. Nashama'a, right? Breath, life. Breath. Breath, spirit, vital breath. Breath, spirit. Divine inspiration, intellect. So that word nasham, nashama, right? Nasham just means right, inspiration, right? Panting, to pant. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 8. And he planted the Lord of powers a garden in Eden in the east, and he placed there to the man which he formed. Salaki, to the man which was formed. Waya natai Yahweh Alahayim Gum Ba'aidan Makwadam Waya Shum Atha Ha'adam Ashar Yatazar Yatazar Salaki. The word natai, the root, it means to plant. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 9. And he caused to spring forth the Lord of powers from the earth, all manner of tree, precious of sight, and good for food, and the tree of life in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Wayatazamach Yahweh Alahayim Man Ha-Adamah Kal Aitaza Na Hamad Lama Ra'ah Wa Tawab Lama Akal Wa Aitaza Cha Chayayam Bathawaka Hagan Wa Aitaza Ha Dayath Tawab Wa Raya. The word hamad means to covet, but it also it denotes something precious, desirable. Genesis chapter 2 verse 10. And a river came forth from Eden to water the garden, and from there he divided it, and it was 4 heads. Wa Nachar Yataza'ah Ma Aidan Laha Shakwath Atha Hagan Wa Masham Salakia Ya Parad Wahaya La Arabaya Ra'ashayim. Salakia Ra'ashim, right? The word parad means to break off, right? Genesis chapter 2 and verse 11. The name of the first river is Pison. That is round about to all the land of Havilah, which there is gold. So let me check something. Right, so Pison is the Red Sea, right? Which here it says Payashan, right? So it says Sham Ha-Achad Payashan Hawa Ha-Sabab Atha Kal Aratazah Hawayala Ashar Sham Ha-Zahab, right? So that is the Red Sea. Genesis chapter 2, verse 12. And the gold of the land, it is good there, it is there. Or Salakia. And the gold of the land, it is good. There is bdellium and stones of lazuli. Wa Zahab Ha Ratazah Ha Hawa Tawab Shum Ha Batalach Wa Aban Ha-shacham. Let's look at that word, shacham. Shacham, onyx stone. Alright. Just type in onyx stone. Just give you a little visual. This is onyx stone. Right? Then you have obsidian. Let's look up obsidian stone. Obsidian, right? This is obsidian stone, right? Just type in what it's made of. What is obsidian stone made of? So it's a glass-like rock, right? Let's compare onyx with obsidian. Says, what are the physical differences between onyx and obsidian? So while onyx is indeed a mineral with a hexagonal crystal system, obsidian is essentially black volcanic rock. So it says onyx is significantly heavier than obsidian. It's good to know. Let's look at the word bdellium. Right. Actually, give you a quick visual. Just move on. Bdellium. Slovakia. Just bear with me. Strong's H916, right? But the Lach. Says some precious article of merchandise mentioned in Genesis 2 and 12. Among gold and precious stone. Says the Arabian manna is compared to this, which later consists of white grains and scales, right? Which is why they call it. It's talking about gum Arabic, right? Bdellium, right? Which let's see. So bdellium. It says gum resin. It says a fragrant gum, perhaps amber. Others a pearl, right? Let's look at that word badal. To separate, to distinguish. To separate, to select. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 13. And the name of the second river is Gihon, that is, round about to all the land of Cush. And the second river, that is the Nile River, right? Salakia. Washam, Ha-Nakar, Hashanya, Kayachan, Hawa, Ha-Sabab, Atha, Kal, Arataza, Kawash. So that is the Nile River. Genesis 2 and 14. And the name of the river, the third, is the Tigris River. That is, which goes unto the east, unto Asher, right? Which is Assyria, right? Which is a place, right, in the Fertile Crescent. It's known as Babylon. It's known as the land of the Chaldeans. It's known as Ur of Chaldees, right, and so on and so forth, right? Babylon, Mesopotamia, right? So it says, and the river, the fourth, it is Euphrates, which is Parath. Right? So that third river is the Tigris River, right? Here it's called Chadakwal. So it says Washam Ha-Nachar Ha-Shalayashaya Chadakwal Hawa Ha-Khalak Wadamath Ashawar Wahad Nahar Ha Rabayaya Hawa Parath. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 15. And he took the Lord of powers to the man, and he led him into the Garden of Eden, to till it and to keep it. Wayakwach Yahweh Alahayim Atha Ha-Adam Waya Nachawa Bagan Aidan La Ibada Wala Shamara. The word nach means to lead, right? It also means to rest, to leave, right? Or to, in certain instances, it means to place something in a particular area, right? To cause it to rest there, right? Just like in Genesis chapter 1, right? When the scripture said that they collected the waters, right? That word kwa, um, kwa, right? That is where you get the word quack from, right? Quack meaning to take, right? Kwa, right? It means a rope, right? It also signifies hope, right? Because that is how you collect something, right? You bundle it up, right? Quack, right? Genesis chapter 2 and verse 16. And he commanded the Lord of powers unto man to say, from all the trees of the garden, surely you shall eat. Waya tazawa Yahweh Alahayim Al Ha-Adam La Amar Makal Aitaza Hagan Akal Tha Akal. Genesis 2 and 17. And from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, because in the day which you eat of it, surely thou shalt die. Wama Aitaza Hadayath Tawab Waraya La'a Tha'akal Ma Manawa Kaya Bayawam Akal Ka Ma Manawa Mawath Thamawath. Genesis chapter 2 and 18. And he said, the Lord of powers, it is not good for a man to be alone. I will make unto him a help which will be in his presence. Right? So that word bad meaning alone, right? Izar meaning help. Nagad means to be present, right? Or to make something present, to reveal a thing, right? So it says, Waya Amar Yahweh Alahayim La'a Tawab Hayawath Ha-Adam Labadwa A-Aisha Lawa Izar Ka Nagadwa. Right? A-Aisha, A meaning I, Aisha meaning to make. Right? Genesis chapter 2 and 19. And he formed the Lord of powers from the earth all living things of the field, and to all fowls of the heavens. And he brought them in unto the man to see what he would call them. And all which he called them, the man, to every living soul, that was its name. Wayatazar Yahweh Alahayim Man Ha-Adamah Kal Hayath Ha-Shaddai Wa-Atha Kal Iwap Ha-Shemayim Wayaba'a Al Ha-Adam La Ra'ath Ma Yakwa Lawa Wakal Ashar Yakwa Lawa Ha-Adam Napash Chaya Hawa Shamwa. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 20. And he called the man to their names, to all of the beasts, to the fowls of the heavens, and to the fowls of the heavens, and to all the living of the field, and to man there was not found an help to be in his presence. Wayakora'ah ha'adam shamath lakal ha-bahama wala iwap ha-shamayim wa lakal hayath ha-shada wala adam la'a mataza'a izar ka nagadwa. Right? Genesis chapter 2 and 21. And he caused to fall the Lord of powers a deep sleep upon man, right? Which it would actually read, he caused him to go a snoring, right? And he caused to fall the Lord of powers to go a snoring, right? As in deep sleep, because that's what that word radama means. It means to snore, literally means to snore. As in to be in a deep sleep, right? Upon man, and he slept, and he took one of his ribs, and he shut his flesh in its stead, or in its place. Wayapal Yahweh Alahayim Tha Radama Al Ha'adam Waya Yashan Wayakwach Achath Matazalayath Yahweh Wayasagar Bashar Tachatna. Right? That word tazalai means rib, right? Let's look at that word radama, right? And cigar, right? That just means to shut in, right? Shut out, shut in. Used in a variety of applications. Genesis 2 and 21. Strong's H8639, Tharadama. A deep sleep, deep sleep, deep sleep, trance, lethargy, by implication a trance. Radam, to snore, to sleep heavily, right? So when you drink or smoke too much, you know, you're gonna be out of your wits, right? Can be caught slipping, right? If you're just doing, you know, whatever, right? You're gonna get caught. You're gonna get got Salakia, right? So you always got to be right, not paranoid, but you have to be right, circumspect. The Arabic says radam, to stop up, door gap, whence perhaps be deaf, stop up to sounds. Says to be asleep, to be unconscious, to stupefy, to stun, right? So did God actually, right, put Adam in a trance? No. He caused a deep sleep to fall upon him, right? Who knows what could have happened? He probably gave him a vision, right? could have seen his wife, right, being presented unto him, right? It doesn't say that, right? So we can only speculate, right? We can only tell you, right, as far as the things that are certain, what is written here, right? Because essentially, this is not talking about, right, the Lord did not operate upon Adam. This is just talking about him falling in deep sleep, right? Most likely gave him a vision that he would be given a wife, right? And right, when it says he took one of his ribs, that means the Lord was going to present unto Adam one of his kinspeople, right? A woman of his lineage, right? Genesis chapter 2 and 22. And he built the Lord of powers unto the rib which he took from Adam, um, to be a woman, right? And he brought her in unto Adam, right? Because the word Adam, right, that is a name, right? Adam, Eve, Hawa, right? It also means man, right? Or mankind, right? Because there was more, right, than one Adam. There was many Adams, many Eves, right? Hawa, right, which is Eve, right? So you have Ayash, right, which is man, right? You have Asha, which is woman, right? Zakar, male. Um, what is it? Let me get that real quick. Female. Nakwaba. Right? And that word, right, Ayash. And I'm speaking as a man, I believe that is derived from Nasha, meaning, right, to bear or burden bearer, right? The word Asha, right, it's just a um a female version, right? It just means, right, I'm speaking as a man. She is bared, right? Because women are annoying, right? And the man bears the woman, right? She has put up with all kinds of woman feelings, right? Because women are very swayful, right? They're very very emotional, right? And the Lord made him that way, right? Unstable, right? Because really, women are not supposed to be, right, everywhere, right? They're not made that way. Men are supposed to be about, right? Men are supposed to be, right, dealing with burdens. The women were made to be delicate, right? To be at home, right? Which is why you see certain of these women in the world, right? They're just bugged out, right? They're drinking all kind of sugar, being indoctrinated with all kinds of um, media, right? And then you got to deal with the people, right? Women were made to do that, right? Because the men were made to be out there, right? The women were they were made for that purpose, right? They're supposed to nurture the children. That's it, right? And the man has to bear with the woman, right? And the man bears the burden, right? Simple as that. But again, I'm speaking as a man, right? That's just my interpretation. So what did the Lord do? He took a near kinsman or kinswoman, right, and brought her unto Adam, right? Genesis 2:23. And he said, Adam, this time um, is bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. This will be called a woman, because from man she was taken from this, right? So, the point is here, right? Not that man was created first, because the Lord made male and female, right? Paul the Apostle had this understanding, which is why he said, I believe that's in the book of Corinthians, he said, uh, man was made for woman and woman for man, right? Something to that effect, right? But the point is that the man has a seed, right? That is what it's talking about here, right? The man has the lineage, right? That's why it says here, right? From man she was taken, right? And you can precept this with Numbers chapter 1 and 18, right? According to the lineage of the father, right? So it says, Waya Amar Ha Adam Za'ath Ha Payam Itazam Ma Itazamya Wa Bashar Ma Basharia La Za'ath Ya Kwara'a Asha Kaya Ma Ayash La Kwacha Za'ath. Right? The word Payam means a step or a stroke, right? Or a time, like one time. Achad Payam, 2 times. Shanya Payam, Payamyam. Right? Here it's saying, Adam said, right, this time, right, I have found someone which is my flesh, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, right? Genesis 2:24. Upon so he will forsake a man to his father and to his mother, Salakia, and will cling upon his wife, and will be one flesh. Al-Khan, Ya Izab, Ayash, Ata, Abayawa, Wa Ata, Amawa, Wa Dabak, Ba Ashathwa, Wa Hayawa, La Bashar Achad. Right, Dabak means to stick, to cling, right, in the sense of glue, right? Genesis chapter 2:25. And it came to pass, both of them were naked, the man and the woman, and they had no shame. Wa Yahayawa, Shun Yaham, Aramyam, Ha Adam, Wa Ashathwa, Wa La'a, Yatha Bashawa, right? So with that is Genesis chapter 2, going into the Hebrew. Brother Yatazadak, hero of Israel. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha'Allah, Abad Babal, Shalom.